Digiphora. Cheers. You are joined. Cheers, Justin. That
Cheers.
might pick up your drink.
Caught me
I'm
off
drinking
guard
by
there.
myself over here. It is not happy hour time on my coast, but I think it almost is on your coast.
It's 4:15, close enough, right?
Sure. Yeah, call it a day. Why not? So I am joined by Justin, the founder and partner of Digiphora, and I am the other partner.
Yes, you are.
So cheers to that too.
Yes, absolutely. Partnerships. Cheers. That's right.
And today we are going to be talking about the CMO role, CMO versus consultant. So we've been hearing a lot in our space recently. It feels very recent, maybe a little too recent. This term fractional CMO. So Justin, do you want to break down for us what a fractional CMO actually is?
Absolutely. So I think the irony, and Haley alluded to it, is the irony is in the space that we have found ourselves in for the last 10 plus years is kind of in the nonprofit marketing communication space. And so I think, well, I know for a fact you can't throw a rock around here without hitting a consultant that is in that church space.
True.
And I was one of them for many seasons. So I'm talking about myself, so it's okay. But, you know,
one of the
we've
many
made this.
Justins, and we'll do a whole
Oh
nother
my
podcast.
gosh, we're
on
going to do a
that.
whole podcast or a whole video series just on interviewing the Justins in church marketing.
Every week for 6 weeks, we'll have a different Justin on the show.
Probably will be. But, you know, it is, I just knew that consultants break down in a hurry. They show up, shoot their cannon, make everybody feel bad, and then leave with a lot of work to be done after they've left. And there's benefits from that. We're going to get hate mail just about that statement, but whatever. But for me, the difference between a consultant and a fractional CMO is, I actually wrote about this, but a fractional CMO is someone who comes in and brings expertise, who brings thought process, who brings leadership, and then they stick around and they are actively involved in your organization or your company on executing, making things better, or just bringing a level of leadership that you may not be able to afford for that in that season of your history as a full-time employee, or it's just your team just needs someone to come in to get them over a hump or through a season. And you know, in this whole COVID churn, we're just seeing so many companies who are, their marketing and communications teams are just without leadership, or they've just left. A lot of it has to do with burnout. Haley and I are seeing a lot of COVID maternity leave right now, and people showing up saying, we've got huge swaths of our marketing department leaving because they're on maternity leave. Can you assist or help us through the season? So back to the original question, the biggest difference is consultants tend to point out all the things that are wrong and give you suggestions or give you ideas on how to fix things. Fractional CMOs is they roll up their sleeves and stick around. And I think that's what you and I enjoy the most. Like you and I, Haley, are wired to work on teams or in teams. And so the consultant part kind of gets old and tiring for us because we enjoy rubbing shoulders and getting stuff done.
I think the thing that stands out to me the most that you've said is that they stick around, because that's not what we're seeing on with a lot of people throwing this term fractional CMO around. We're seeing you can afford one, we'll come in, we'll do it, and we'll go.
Yep.
And that's not a CMO. That is what we would like to refer to as a consultant.
That's correct.
So it seems
you and I know, like,
right now to hop on and use the language fractional CMO, but we want to be the first to come and set the record straight that a consultant comes and goes. A fractional CMO is in there for the long haul.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. And I think another key defining factor, whether or not you've hired a consultant or you've hired a fractional CMO, is who are they communicating with? You know, if they're only communicating, that's correct. If they're only communicating with executive leadership and they're not communicating all the way down to line level employees, you hired a consultant. You know, and I think you and I, well, for a fact, you and I have seen 4 or 5 people in the recent past change their LinkedIn accounts from consultant to fractional CMO, but their service offerings have not changed at all. And if you read all the things that they do on their website, they're just a consultant trying to feel modern or trying to feel I don't know, maybe we've already started taking profit share, market share away from people, and they're trying to catch back up with us. I don't know. I don't lose a whole lot of sleep over it,
Hey,
but
have
I
you ever
just think,
read Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist?
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't
they
seem like they're stealing like artists. It seems like they're just stealing. And we have done a lot of
yes,
work in the faith-based
yep.
space, so it's not a great look.
It's not a great look. And the funny thing is, I think that people forget how small the community is.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's all we'll say. We can leave it right there. Like, it's a small community, and
It's funny that
whatever.
I
Like,
feel like the places we have seen that term now
yep,
being used are 6 degrees, less than 6 degrees of separation away from clients we've had or
yep,
people we've worked with who've seen that phrase or
yep,
that term.
yep.
And I mean, good for you if you want to do that,
Mhm.
but let's do it the right way.
That's correct. That's correct. Well, I know you and I have talked about this for literally dozens of hours. We're already starting to see our content, and
Now
there's
we're
not
laughing
that much
about it.
content
I'm
out
just
there.
kidding.
There's not that much content out there, but we're starting to see our content show up on other people's social accounts and websites as original.
Mhm.
And I had someone ask me the other day, it was a buddy of mine who I talk a lot about, just like leadership and owning companies and entrepreneurship. And I was talking to him about one situation specifically where we had something plagiarized. And he was like, "Well, are you sure it was plagiarized?" I was like, "Yeah, because there was a grammar error in it, and they didn't fix the grammar error when they put it up on their account." And it was just this, yep.
Was it the quotation that I put
Yeah,
there?
right. No quotations made there. It was just, so,
And
it's happening. But the whole conversation about fractional CMO, it's what we were talking about today.
mhm.
And I think to that point is, if your content's not original, also maybe a huge red flag of whether or not you've hired a consultant or a CMO, because consultants traditionally are very isolated in their skill set, very focused on fixing or helping in a very small space. I'm sorry, small space. And CMOs really should be able to come in and look at everything across the board with marketing
Absolutely.
and be able to speak into it. The really, really good ones, the ones that I love, are the ones that are saying, "I can't help you. Let me find someone else that can help you." I've not heard of many consultants who turn down work because it's the client's farther down the road than they are,
Mhm.
or they just can't add value. But I continue to hear about fractional CMOs in the for-profit space, who are turning down work just because they can't offer value to the conversation. And so I think that's one of the things I love about what we're doing, Haley, with Digifora, is we're just super black and white with our clients with what we can do to help them, whether or not they can afford us. And that has been an interesting conversation to have with people, where we've not even really done some phone calls with people who are interested in working with
Mhm.
us, because we knew right out of the gate that they couldn't afford us. And so it was a way of gracefully letting them know that, let us help you find someone that probably is going to fit the budget that you have.
Yeah, and a consultant there's nothing wrong with being a consultant.
I don't
There
know.
are lots of people that are consultants, but we just want to make it very clear they're not as tied into the organization.
It's
They're
correct.
not seen across leadership level as a partner
It's
or
correct.
contributor to the organization at such a deep level.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not managing teams,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's correct.
So
Yep.
I love what we have a website now, by the way, a little commercial. Pause for a moment and visit Digifora, Digifora.com, and visit our website. We have a front door, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, this might be another podcast. We didn't really
Yep.
need a front door because we had so many people just coming in the back door. We didn't have
Yep.
time to set one up, which is a
Yep.
great problem to have, but not a great way to get your name out there unless it's
Mm-hmm.
solely by word of mouth, which
Mm-hmm.
God has blessed us with word of mouth. So
Very
that
much
has
so.
been great. But I love what we have on the website about this specific offering for us is the benefits of a CMO without paying the salary benefits of an employee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you don't have a budget for a traditional CMO, this is a great fit for you
It is.
because you are paying I don't want to say kind of like a contractor or consultant because it is going to
Mhm.
cost a little more to get that level of expertise and
Yep.
the time that you're getting with this person.
Yep.
But you're not having to pay out benefits and all of those extra employee benefits you would be paying a full-time in-house CMO. And we can do another podcast on in-house versus remote because
Yep.
hello, we're
Raging
we're
conversation
2021.
right
I don't
now.
know if you knew that, but we're in the hybrid workspace and that's just the way of the future.
Yep, it is. I mean, I think we should do those other podcasts and videos just to talk about it all, because there are so many great conversations happening, because we're seeing, even within our client load, we're seeing a raging war between the people who have fully embraced remote and ones that are, we're not doing remote period, where we want everyone back in the office pretty much now. And so I think there's pros and cons to it, but yeah, we should do that for sure. I think the other thing that people should consider with a fractional CMO opportunity is, Haley hit on the key points, but a lot of times, you know, that when you're talking to someone who's got 15 or 20 years of experience and what their salary expectations should be and what your, call it $10 million or less organization can afford, those things don't match. And so getting a fractional CMO allows you to get that expertise with the budget that you have. And if they're good, they should be able to grow you in a handful of years. And that should be part of the conversation. The expectation is grow us to the point rapidly that if we wanted to, we could offer you an actual salary. And those will be the ones, we're just getting started in this, Haley and I, but we know that in the future, we're going to have opportunities where people are going to say, man, we love working with you so much. Why don't you just come on our team full time? The answer will be no, but but that should be that should be a KPI
on your team full time, but we will sign a long contract with you
that
to work
correct.
with you for a long time.
Absolutely. But that should be a long-term KPI.
Absolutely. Why would you bring a CMO in, whether they are from an agency like Digifora, or why would you bring one in or in-house for just a small season and then let them go? I don't see what good that does anybody. And
that's a consultant.
You know, somebody has told me before, most people quit bad bosses, not bad jobs.
Correct.
So when your team is always in flux or always in transition, there's a reason for that. It's because of poor leadership. And so there's a huge need for stability. And so a fractional CMO can be there and should be there for over 6 months, for years and years, however long the relationship is working with you. Or working for you, rather. And so, Justin, my question for you is, well, just for our audience mostly, is there a one-size-fits-all fractional CMO? I'm going to tease that up with, we have not been the same CMO for one client as we have for another. And I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it is the beauty of it. The answer is no, there's not a one-size-fits-all. You know, and we'll link out to the blog post that I wrote about being a fractional CMO. But I also wrote another one that was pretty darn honest, even in this season of being Digifora, that we've had some clients hire us to be the fractional CMO and then not let us do what they hired us to do. And that's another interesting kind. No, not at all. Not at all.
No shame and no names.
No shame, no names. We've also had clients that have hired us and they ended it sooner than we had hoped it would be, because the working relationship, because they weren't ready for the commitment. Even though we did our due diligence to get them ready, they were not ready for the commitment. And so again, you should go into hiring a CMO, or a fractional CMO, just like you would hiring an employee. Long term, we hope that you're here till you retire. We need you to get us from where we are here to where we know we need to be in 12, 24 months. And so we're learning as well how to better have those conversations with people, because I think even our clients are getting stuck a little bit with the defining factor between the difference in a consultant and a fractional CMO.
Yeah, and it's a learning process. I was going to add to that it takes a very innovative kind of a leader to wrap their mind around, my CMO is not sitting in my office or the office next to me every day of the week. And honestly, they don't have to be. We are
Yep.
doing an excellent job with our
Yep.
clients running them from California and Georgia.
Yep.
We
Yep.
operate a business
Yep.
bi-coastally. So that's the beauty of the technology at our disposal is you can really have whatever you want. You don't
Yep.
want to pay full-time salary benefits? Great. Pay
Yep.
just fractional CMO. You don't want to have even writers or
Mm-hmm.
managers in-house.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a place for a team all being together,
Sure.
but I think it takes a really innovative type of leader that can visualize what it could be and how to
Mm-hmm.
make it work and let it
Mm-hmm.
go.
Yep.
And I think also that just takes a lot of communication too on the fractional CMO's part of
It
communicating
does.
up what's
Mm-hmm.
working, what's not working, and communicating across to
Yep.
other leaders within the organization. And I know we've been really intentional about doing that as well as communicating daily with the teams that
Yep.
we manage.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And so the teams that we manage, you just hit on it. They're getting daily touches and they're getting daily Zoom calls, and
Whether you
we're
see
in the,
it or not, it's
that's
happening.
correct. It is happening. And and they're inside Zoom calls daily. Slack is a kind of a platform that we've adopted just because a lot of people are already there. Others, we're interviewing some clients right now that are on different platforms, and we'll address that. But it just is setting up a system that allows you to be available to the whole client load. So, yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
one of the questions that I've addressed that people have reached out and say, not having someone, or better said, their concern is if we brought someone in at that level, we would hope that they would also be building a team in the sense of both size wise, but also leading and building culture. And so, can a fractional CMO do that? So, my question to you, Haley, is can they? Because we both know what the answer is. And then, why don't you kind of walk us through a few things that you've done with clients to help them learn better, be positioned, and get them in the right seat on the right bus and on the bus?
So, yes, the answer is yes, you can do that. Um, that has been one of my passions is just growing and developing a team. And so I think there's beauty too with what Justin and I offer at Digi4 is it's not just a single person as a fractional CMO. We actually come as a team, which
Yep.
you're getting like twice as much bang for your buck, in my opinion. And you can check the metrics and facts if you don't believe me.
That's right.
But we've taken the team that so mostly you would need a fractional CMO, especially if your team is in transition. And so we've
Yeah.
come in and really created stability with the team and helped the team grow and learn more about their strengths and where they're best suited on the team. And that's really what a regular CMO would also do. They would say, are
That's
you in the
correct.
right position? What are you working on? What lanes do you own? And what can we fix moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of our clients we're working with really positioned themselves well with us coming in, having us start with a marketing audit. That's
Yep.
another, I'm not trying to sell all of our products. We get me excited.
Yep.
So our marketing audit was actually, I believe it was added on after they hired us as CMO.
Mm-hmm.
But that just really gave us a roadmap to know what do we need to fix? What do we need to work on moving forward? How can we develop the team that we have to get
Yep.
accomplished what our goals are and partner with our other teams to meet their goals as well?
Yep.
Because that's what the marketing team is there for. We're not just an isolated island of the organization. We're pushing the voice of the organization and the goals of the organization and pushing it out to reach whole new audiences, or mainly your target audience. But
Yeah.
there's a reason why you're doing marketing is to get your company out there and to grow your business. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can do that. We've Strengths Finders is a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Enneagram partnered with that as well is another great. And gosh, there's so many different tools that we've used. It just really depends
Yeah.
on the team and where they're at.
Yep.
But yeah, we already feel like family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where I was trying to get us to, because part of our key statement as a company is building trust.
Mm-hmm.
And like we believe that everything we do is building trust. And part of it is helping build trust with a team. Part of that is building trust that we said we were going to do this and we did it. building trust and saying that if we change these things, the KPIs that are important to us all, that we've all agreed upon, we're going to see the growth that we want to see. And like Haley alluded to earlier, we've got the data to back it up. It works. And when we lead with trust and we lead with relationship, we're able to build, our tagline basically is marketing strategies that yield results, build trust, and give you a peace of mind. And so we firmly believe that. We lead with that. And trust is the key component for all that. Because if you go into these things,
Trust
not
comes
trusting
from
the
happy
client.
hour. We want to be able to sit and be able to have a drink with us, or you want to do that with us as well.
Correct.
And these are just some of the things that we would be talking about if we were
That's correct.
really at a happy hour, not by ourselves, but
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely. I love it. And that's just kind of who we are anyways. And we've had, people showing up talking about, man, I sure do like that the two of you did this because it just makes sense. I think part of the reason people think it makes sense is just because it's brash to say, but I don't think there are two people out there that will outwork Haley and I ever. Like we get down, we get stuff done.
Bold statements by Brackett. I love it.
So there's that part of it. And then it just is, we're not trying to build a kingdom. We're just trying to build a company that helps you grow what you're doing. And out of that will come, we've got personal goals, we've got business goals, but it's not about what we're doing for ourselves. It's more about we want to help you be successful, help you grow and trust yourself. So, yep.
Absolutely. And I think in the season 2, with that, we want to work with companies that have integrity, companies that we believe in, and we can help them achieve their goals. So it's not just a single building a single company, it's building multiple companies with each client. And that excites me. And I know that excites you too, Justin.
Yep.
And we'll just see where all this goes. But some key takeaways for today for the fractional CMO versus a consultant. My key takeaway is that CMOs don't go away. Fractional CMOs stay. Right. And they're there for the long term, and they're really there to do that chief marketing officer role of building your company alongside of you at a fraction of the cost. Fractional.
That's right. Yep. So good.
What's your key takeaway?
I think my key takeaway in this is that it allows you, a fractional CMO allows you to have a level of thought leadership come and help your company that you may not be able to afford in that moment.
And all building trust while we do that.
Absolutely.
Well,
so I think the next podcast cheers. And I think the next podcast we have to get your drink when we cheers.
I thought we established that at the top.
We did. Slow on the uptake here. But I think the next podcast video we should do is on, do we really need a marketing audit?
Yes, you do. And I wrote a blog on that. So check it out at digifora.com. Thanks for joining us today, guys. And we'll see you next time.